And we're off to the races. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super stoked because this is a familiar face you see every night these days, it seems. I've been shooting and doing different episodes. One is today is one for the ages, as they say, one for the books, an epic show all around. Because the next person, boy, he needs almost no introduction. If you're a huge fan of Shameless, like I know I used to be a limo driver and I used to drive for the show many years ago. You'll know this character. He is unbelievable. But guess what? He's also an awesome country superstar. This amazing young man is doing a lot. He wears a lot of different hats. You're gonna learn very shortly. He's the CEO of his own production company. I mean, the guy is a multi-talented powerhouse. He's a director, producer, actor, musician, and CEO. Come on, what more do you want? The guy also is hosting a wonderful benefit concert, as it were, a very humble thing and noble cause, and it's for the holidays, right? So basically, November 23rd, mark your calendars. You bring some non-perishable foods that you can bring in items that you can bring over to this wonderful place. It's going to be held in Venice, California. We hear all about it at the Venice West. Guys, we'll hear all about this wonderful person just a second. You put your hands together for the one and only Presley Aronson.
Well, that was an introduction. Well, thank you so much, Jim. It's so awesome to be here.
Presley, I am beyond excited to talk to you. I know right now, given that there's like storm watch and finally we get some level of water, and you're an Angelino, so you and I, we know that it's this, we live in the valley, a wonderful San Fernando Valley, where it's a dust bowl, generally speaking, through and through. We hardly ever get water. So any level of water, man, is a level of water we didn't have in a while. And we're counting our blessings, right? How are you today, my man?
I'm doing great. We're staying dry. We're staying, having fun. I'm just staying off the roads because they can get a little
Yeah.
crazy. If anybody's been in LA, it's, they don't know how to drive when it's not raining, let alone when it's raining.
Absolutely. It's crazy. I wanted to touch up really quick to just kind of jet set on this wonderful journey, this trajectory, this journey, this talk, this conversation, this convo we're about to have. I want to talk about the food drive benefit show on November 23rd. Bless your heart. May God always bless you, man, for having a wonderful heart and a humble spirit, a kind spirit to in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, who traditionally has been phenomenal in helping families in and around, especially the inner cities and just the outskirts of LA. This one's going to be out in Venice Beach, California, right? Can you tell us a little bit about it before we delve into the music? Because I hear all about She's All Mine, What If, man, even like Paradise, Living Like Paradise, and background, and that's a very especially good one because it delves into bullying, and yours truly was bullied once upon a time myself. So let's do that, but let's talk about this food drive.
Yeah, so I love to give back. Like you kind of mentioned, I was bullied a lot when I was younger, physically, mentally, emotionally, and I want to do just everything I can to help others, to mentor others, to give back. And that's something that's really important with my music. My message
Mm-hmm.
is, even throughout a lot of my songs, I like to have that positive messaging, that, something that actually gives back. So I've partnered with a lot of different nonprofits. I have my own nonprofit called the Background Foundation. I'm on the board of the Collab Youth Foundation, and a lot of others as well, like the Boys and Girls Clubs. I love, whenever I'm on tour, I like to stop, whether it's a school, a Boys and Girls Club, a Salvation Army Youth Center, and just make a quick appearance,
That's
be
very
with the
cool.
kids, perform, speak to them, give out some t-shirts and some fun and some love and some positivity. And
Yeah.
so this is something that's really cool because I've done a lot of shows at the Venice West, and I feel like that's like kind of
Okay.
one of my like unofficial residencies in a way, and they're just awesome over there. And so it's kind of bringing all the worlds together with Venice West and the Boys and Girls Club, and just really being able to give back for this holiday season,
Absolutely.
something for, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And, we are so blessed and fortunate to be able to have Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is about sharing and being thankful. And, no one should be hungry any day, but let alone Thanksgiving. So I
Yes.
urge all of you to please show up, enjoy the music, bring a non-perishable food item, 1 or 100, whichever you feel comfortable with. And, there's a chance you'll be entered into a raffle, and there's a chance to win a bunch of really cool merch items, tickets, restaurant gift cards, a bunch of stuff just to kind of reward our
Sure.
philanthropy.
Yes. I love that. You're such a young person, and you have such a giving heart, and you mentioned being philanthropic, and that's what you are already at such a young age. And um I think we're of kindred spirits, because I happen to like care a lot about the homeless, and give, and what you said, to piggyback back, right, what you said about Thanksgiving. I'll take it a day, a point further, and I would say that Thanksgiving ought to be every day, and every day we ought to be grateful for everything that's being given to us. Living in the United States of America is such a blessing, and we are given so much, and there's a biblical passage that, to whom much is given, much is required. And obviously that's a little deeper, but I think about that, and I think about, we ought to be able to give a little more to the people in and around, and help maybe put a smile on their face. And I can't stop but help but think about how you do that. Every time you're on tour, you do something, you stop by and you make a young person's life better. Anything you may have said, anything, a song, something they could resonate with. I mean, that in and of itself. So, my man, I tip my head off to you.
Well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I try to do something, especially around the holidays, but
Yeah,
really just all year round. Like you said, just stopping by and,
beautiful.
wherever I am on tour and giving back. But, I've done like, went and fed the homeless at the LA Mission, and, you know,
Yeah,
doing, like this benefit concert, like just anything that I can do to really, utilize my music.
God
And
given blessings.
yeah, so anything I can do to give back and help is, it just warms my heart, and
Sure.
it's very, very rewarding work, very humbling work. And, I love every moment of it.
Just hearing you out, man, makes me very happy. I'm glad to hear that there are still some great people in the world that go out of the way unselfishly, and to give back, and be that beacon of light, so to speak. Now, you've been performing from the time you were a kid. Let's talk about that. You were performing at coffee shops, talent shows, school bands. What was that, that first moment, like, where you thought, man, I can do this forever. It doesn't have to be a hobby, I can pay for this someday.
Well, there's lots of stories with that for sure. I mean, I always had some sort of musical bone in my body. When music was playing, I was always moving. I could never sit still. And going through a lot of tough times as a kid, through the
Oh,
bullying and different things, I had to find an outlet. And I say this to a lot of the kids that I mentor today, and even adults. It's like we all need an outlet, because
mhm.
whether if it's not bullying, it may be workplace harassment, it may be road
Mhm.
rage, somebody could be just rude in the grocery store. It may not be called bullying anymore when you become an adult,
Wow.
but it's always prevalent. And at
Sure.
the end of the day, we have to find an outlet. And that kind of goes into like live like paradise of like, it's a thought, it's a moment. It's not about a physical place, but it's your
Yes.
outlet. Whether that's reading a book in the mountains or going to the beach, it could be something physical or just something mental, right? And
Yes.
for me, music was that big outlet, something that's storytelling, whether that's in film or music or something that I can just create. And the only way I can describe it, Jim, is just like every time I walk on stage, it is literally magical. And I'm just so grateful to be able to actually walk onto stage, to be able to have those opportunities, have people show up, listen to the music, enjoy the music, relate to the music. And it's just something that's really incredible. So, I mean, yes, my entire life, I've, sang where I can. And I've been a drummer of a rock band in school and stage plays
Beautiful.
and all this, amazing fun stuff. And, at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's really about having an outlet, something that's magical that takes you away from all the stress and different things. And it's like you'll
Wow.
find those Easter eggs in all of my songs, even
Sure.
into Tonight, my recent single.
Yeah, I like
It's
that
something
song.
that, we're living like we're dying tonight because the world's gone crazy. Sometimes ain't so fun no more. It's just like it becomes where it's kind of the same thing where it's just like focusing on the positivity and finding that outlet of just like I just knew that this is something I have to do, not only for myself, but for everyone else. And so I can utilize my influence to give back. This is my purpose.
Yes. Well, you're very passionate, young man, and you are wise beyond your years for sure. Um, I also wanted to say congrats that I found out that you're self-taught drummer and self-taught pianist, and like you do a lot of the stuff you've learned. It's you're self-taught, and wow, that's amazing. Thank God for YouTube, also, right? It helps you learn so much, you know.
Oh, definitely. A lot of it is just feeling music, playing things out, but yeah, I mean, I would say having that, the university of YouTube is great.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. It's never
Yeah,
been put that way.
I've learned
I like
so
that,
much,
Presley.
whether that's in film or
Totally.
business or music or just life. I mean, obviously you gotta be careful because, don't believe everything you read on the internet, but at the end of the day, it's just I love to absorb knowledge and I may watch 10 YouTube videos, but maybe only got something from maybe, one of them. But it's just like I try to absorb all the good that comes out of it and
Yeah.
just learning. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm learning guitar and I need to play these chords. Okay, I go on Google Images and what does that chord look like? Okay, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
we can start playing that, it's like
Sure.
just kind of teaching myself. And I've had lot of, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of great teachers, mentors, so many people that have helped me through my career and so far, and there's going to be so many more that's going to help as well. So I'm grateful for them, and I've learned a lot from everyone that's on my team, and they're amazing mentors. But there's definitely a lot of work that I've put in at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It sounds like you're you're on the quest for knowledge. You're voraciously learning and sucking up all the knowledge you can from this conduit called YouTube, as it were. Um,
The
I'm
University
curious.
of
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah, University coined by Presley Aronson. Um, I was going to ask you, Presley, who was your like growing up? What drummers did you look up to, or do you like any drummers that really stand out in your mind?
I think there's, some amazing drummers out there. I mean, you have Tommy Lee, Alex Van Halen, and
Mhm.
so some of those were some of my influences on the drumming side of
Great.
things,
Me
you
too.
know. I'm definitely a lot more my primary instrument's a lot more guitar today, and some
Okay.
keys.
Right.
And yeah, I definitely miss playing the drums. I tell my drummer that every time we rehearse or play a show. I'm like, maybe I'll get back there. And he's like, no, it's okay. You can stay up there. But I family friends with Alex Van Halen, and so it was a big influence and stuff growing up and stuff too. So very nice to be able to have great role models.
Yes. Wow. That's fantastic. And you love mentoring the youth, and you help, build crews and people alike that can work in your productions, right? What is the day-to-day look like when you go and you these people, you meet them? Where do you meet them at? Like, how do you vet them? I mean, how does that work? Like, in terms of getting people to work for your organization?
Well, I think it really depends on which department we're talking about, and every day is different. I mean, you
Okay.
know, would be I always say my schedule is really fluid. Sometimes I could be going to bed at 5 a.m. or waking up at 5 a.m. And I love every
Wow.
moment. I may be tired with it, but or maybe tired, but at the same time, I love what I do, and I would never change that. Whether it's in film or music, and so every day is different. Whether it's
Right.
in the office, in the studio, at the rehearsal studio, doing a show, doing an interview, right, like now, and
Like
you
right
know,
now.
so it's just like, a lot of just networking, connections, events, meeting people through people, word of mouth. We have a great internship program that I'm really proud of because I never really
Okay.
had, much of a mentorship growing up. My
No,
parents supported
it's unheard
me.
of.
Yeah, I mean, my parents supported me, but I never really had, like, an industry mentor, and
No.
so it's like I actually petitioned my school to start a film class in middle school, and so I got
Wow.
enough signatures to go and actually start this class, and
Incredible, bro. Incredible.
oh, thank you, and I just love storytelling, whether that's
Hmm.
songwriting or through music. Like, I love music videos because it mixes all my worlds together, and, it's just we have this great internship program that I wanted to give
Sure.
back, and,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of kids are stuck of where do we go from here? I
Yeah.
mean, whether in high school or college or whatever, it's like I've had a lot of our kids that come and they say one day working here with you is worth more than what we've learned an entire semester in a class
Sure.
sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'm just, wow, are you sure? And they're like, yes, 100%. I'm like, that's huge, because they're
Yeah.
working with actual equipment and on real projects and stuff rather than getting coffee and making paper copies, but actually working with the equipment, coming to the shows,
Yeah.
working films, and actually getting to learn real world experiences, and it's a game changer. I wish I had something like that, and I'm just honored to be able to provide something like that as well to our next generation.
But and you know what? And it's fair to point out also, it's noteworthy that you started this whole thing, Mr. Production Company of sorts, at a tender age of 14 years of age, where most teenagers are worrying about video games, the next video game or viral trend on TikTok. You were trying to figure out this whole production thing as a word, and want to figure out the company, the ins and outs, and all the logistics and whatnot. And it's I don't know what passion that you have. I mean, how did the what was the catalyst you think to start this? I mean, because you have a lot of passion for what you do, but I mean, it had to have come from somewhere embedded in you. Were your parents in the music or movie business? Were they steering you in that direction? What was that the household family dynamic like?
So neither of my parents were in entertainment at all, but we had a lot of, family friends that were in entertainment, whether they were
Mm.
actors or, singers or, a lot of industry people that I was surrounded with growing up. And, my dad is a business owner, so I get my entrepreneurship from him. My
Mhm.
mom, is very loving, very creative. She's an artist, loves to decorate, different things like that. So I get a lot of the creative from her, and just kind of meshes together. I think
Mhm.
between all those factors, it's created who I am today. And just being surrounded by that, I've always loved film and music and storytelling and the whole creative industry. And so growing up and doing the stage plays and being able to do all this different stuff, it just kind of pushed me where I started doing professional acting, and then you know
Shameless.
fell in love
Shameless.
fell in love with behind the scenes. Like, most kids would be over eating donuts at craft services, and I was like
Yeah.
fascinated by the equipment and the cameras and what was
Right.
going on. And then I got a bunch of my acting friends together, and we started making, little short films. And
Yeah.
one
That's
of my best friends, Dylan Hardigan, he's an incredible DP. And so he
yeah.
kind of came on and started, doing all the camera work. And we really just started growing this whole like kind of idea, started doing all these short films. And then it started, people wanted to kind of hire us a little bit, and it started to turn into that. And we're like,
A
okay, well,
full-blown production ecosystem.
we completely just created it almost out of thin
Yeah.
air as uh, early teenagers. And it's something that I fell in love with, and I'm like, okay, let's run with it. And I've
Yeah.
had a great support system, a lot of great friends, and a lot of great crew members, and different things that, and it hasn't always been easy, because hiring crew and actors that were a lot older than me, and they show up and the director's 15 years old, and they're like, "Yeah, what's going on here?" And then by the end of the day, it changes, and they're just
Yeah.
like, "We're wow, I
The
never
power
expected."
dynamics change.
Yeah,
It's
it's
funny.
just like they walk in, and they're just like, "Okay, should I stay?" And then they stay, and they're just like, "I'm super impressed. I'm so excited to see what this is." And it was I've learned a lot. Obviously, I wasn't perfect back then.
Sure.
I'm nowhere near perfect now either. But, I've
Yeah.
learned a lot through the years, and it's really just became this huge success, and there's a lot more growth. It's like we have so many different projects going on. From We do feature films, short films, and,
Your music videos
documentaries,
too, right?
music videos. We do commercials. We
Mhm.
film concerts,
PSAs, right?
social media management stuff. It just like there's a lot of different aspects, and it's great for my music career. I love, on the other side, of some great feature films coming with some awesome people. So
Mm.
it's just really exciting to see, you know, how this has gone. And I really focus on, it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey, and you have to enjoy it.
Yeah. That I've heard a lot along my journey as as the podcast radio host, and dabbled in film and other stuff myself. Um, I've heard that a lot. And why do you think that's important? You think like when you arrive, and then what? Sort of. And then, but the journey of it, the every day says you get ducks, sometimes you get feathers, situations says you're up, sometimes you're bust, and all that sort of shapes. And it's kind of what, like, really sort of kind of in a sense, it's the full scope of your life. When you arrive, you're just there, and let's say you're just you're already
And
known. And
you can't appreciate it if you don't
yeah.
go through all the hard times
Right.
and the
Right.
struggles to be able to get there. It's
Sure.
like everybody today, they want instant gratification, but they don't
Hmm.
wanna work
Hmm.
for it. And so it's like, it really is something that, you know, it's like you really have to go through the hard work to be able to
Yes.
get where you wanna be, and actually appreciate where you are. It's a totally different feeling.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I look back on things. I understand what you mean when you said you went out there and you just started creating, and then things started probably falling into place, in such a beautiful, almost kind of an outer body experience sort of way, where you create something you didn't expect that it would fall, and it's just serendipity happened, and things just fell where they were. And I think it's the idea is to just plant the seed and watch it germinate, you know what I mean? And a lot of people are afraid to take the leap of faith, as it were, and not allow things to sort of happen. I mean, there's no, in other words, I think that it's cool to be able to start something, and and just, if something doesn't go, not, I think not have any expectations, I guess, at the beginning is where it ought to be, because then you things could go wherever they go, and it becomes a fluid situation. And then let it happen on its own, and let things just kind of work themselves out, and there's no right or wrong way at first. And I think over time you just get better at it, right? Because you keep doing more of it. And I think it's what's happened here. I'm really, really, I mean, when I started listening to you, I was taken aback in a very, very cool way, because you're a very young person, and you almost, you kind of capture this, like, kind of like almost as though you've lived a second life. And you know what I mean? Like you're just like so seasoned for your age. And you're like probably late 20s, mid to late 20s, and it seems like you've already done acquired quite a bit of credits where most people, they're older, are barely starting to hit those milestones you already have. So I think that whatever catalyst, pushed you to do it, it's been a great thing for you. And I can't even, and now it bleeds into music because you're also a country singer who's doing great things. And through your music, like you said, there are gems, and there are Easter eggs there along the way that people can resonate with. Specifically, that one song background was really, really powerful. You know, can we talk about that? It'd be a good segue to talk about your music that's super impactful. You have your latest well, you have a latest song right now, right? It's you were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, it's
Uh
called Tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song. I love it because it's a fun, like, summer party
Hmm.
song, but also kinda fits all year round, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's like getting the world's crazy, and we're just going through so many struggles and different
Hmm.
things, and let's just put it all aside for a moment, get together with some
Yeah.
friends, and just have a
Mhm.
great time, and just really, it's the line in there, "Live like we're dying tonight," and it's just like
Yeah.
really just something that we need to not just listen to, but actually follow and
Yeah.
actually do it. It will help so much. And
Mhm.
also to piggyback from what we were just talking about too, it's like if you have a dream, stop waiting to chase it. Start chasing it today
Wow.
because you're the only one that's standing between you and your dreams. I've had so many people that have thought negatively, and
Yeah.
so many people that have said, "You can never do this," whether it's in film, music, or anything else in my life. And, the truth is that just gives me more fire to just
Hmm.
keep going and prove them wrong. And that's something that I want everyone to do is just follow your heart, follow your dreams, because you can do anything you set your mind to. So that's
Wow.
really a big message of mine. And, I try to put that in a lot of my
And
songs too.
you're living proof of it, right?
I
I
like to say that too to a lot of the kids of, like, that are going through things, that are bullied, and I like to say, "Listen, I am living proof that you can make it out,
Yes.
that you can turn it around, that it's not gonna last forever, that it's only temporary.
Right.
Never choose a permanent solution to a temporary problem." And that's like even my other song, "Love for the Win." It's, like,
Yeah.
really just anti-suicide.
Yes.
Everything is temporary, and we can get through it, and just
Yeah.
choose love, and you'll win every single time.
So deep, man. Profound. I think about school, and I always be telling people, dude, you foul, whatever. In 100 years, who's gonna care? It's just an adage, figure of speech. In a year, who's gonna care? And just keep moving forward is really the message, and make those dreams a reality, not just a dream. I think it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful because you're living proof that you can get past things and get a lot done, and things that probably people would never have expected because, they thought they had stifled you due to the bullying. A lot of times the bullying could put a kibosh almost on anything you want to do. And they think they have the upper hand. But when in reality, you can rewrite your story, and the chapters are still there, still blank. Canvas is a brand new canvas every morning, and the book and your whole book story hasn't been told yet. And this it's great. I mirror and cannot parody enough like what you're saying. I totally, totally get it resonates so much because I grew up and as a young boy in elementary school, I got bullied by a gang of kids, and I got there were I grew up in a rough town in LA and East LA, and the kids were rough, came from real rough backgrounds, and every day somebody would pick on me, and this, that, and the other. And you over the years, as you get older, it follows you, and a lot of times you find yourself second guessing yourself in many ways, and like you think maybe there's an obstacle or a certain bar, and you can't think you don't think you can go past it, because there's always something that kind of says you might not be able to do it, dude. Remember how so and so used to say, it's like almost like bad affirmations, and you have to sort of you got to think about everything, reinvent this wheel of life, as it were, and start new, start fresh.
That's
That's
so
awesome.
true.
That was in reinvent yourself. And then it's only the only way you can push through all those that negativity, and get and break through. And then you start seeing milestones, and the little successes turn into big successes, and here you are, Presley Aronson, doing
Thank
music and doing it
thank
all at such a young age.
Well,
Wow.
I do wanna say I'm so sorry that you went through, that it's not easy, and I'm glad that
No.
you made it past, and it really is true for those that are out there listening. It does follow you for the rest of
It
your
does.
life, and you gotta
It
learn
does.
how to live with it, how to work with it, and, it's not you may not get rid of it, but it's how do you live with it, and, like, we're
Yeah.
even doing this I'm directing this feature film right now that's about this gal that attempted suicide and survived. And it's a very powerful message, but she's learned how to live with those aspects of her life that, her
Okay.
mental illness is a passenger in her car. And that mental illness
Absolutely.
was driving the car and she was the passenger. But she said
Right.
it's time to switch seats. And so she
Beautiful.
got in the driver's seat. She put the mental illness in the back seat. We're still in the
I,
same car, but now we're in different positions.
yeah.
And it's just it really if you mentally think about a lot of that, even, like, Live Like Paradise. I didn't start living like paradise after I wrote the song. I wrote the song because it's my motto, because I
Yeah.
like to live every single day like I'm in paradise, whether it's the best or worst day of my life. The second I started waking up every morning with a positive attitude, and all of that changed when I was able to get out from underneath all of the bullying and all the challenges
Yeah.
and left that with them. And I just started to say, okay, it's time to prosper. It's time to wake up with a positive attitude and stop
That's right.
absorbing everybody else's negativity. Let it
Mhm.
roll right off and
Perfect.
really just be able to push, push, and push. And just, I always say it's free to be nice and a smile is contagious. And
Absolutely.
I promise if you walk down the street and you smile at somebody, there's a high probability that they're gonna smile right back. They're not gonna know
Sure.
why. They're gonna feel it for at least an hour, if not the rest of their day. But,
Yeah.
they're gonna feel that of, "Wow, that person was nice. They smiled. I don't know why I'm smiling, but I am now." And it's just like they're gonna keep it going. And maybe them smiling, and as they walk by somebody else, it's gonna be just a domino effect. And somebody has
Yeah.
to start. Somebody has to start it, you know?
And it changes the chemicals in your brain. Like, it does something to you. And like you said, case in point, you smile at somebody, and somebody else will smile at the next person, on and on. And it changes the course of the day, because maybe somebody's going through tough times. Maybe somebody yelled at somebody. Maybe somebody said, "You're stupid. You don't know what freaking you're doing," kind of thing. And this, that, and the other. And then along comes the person that smiles and says, "You know what? It's going to be all right. You're not what they say you are. You're completely different. You're wonderful, made in God's image, God's likeness. Carry on, shine, and then they'll like go out there and smile at somebody else and make their day." And on and on and on and on. So that's beautiful, man. Honestly, you have such a great message, and this message is super contagious. And your music, your cinematic, the nature of your videos perfectly outlines your vision, as I imagine. And I like the one with the Santa, what is it? No, Catalina Island, which I love.
I
Beautiful,
love
beautiful
it over
video,
there.
man. It's
It's so
beautiful.
beautiful, it's like it's our little oasis only a few miles
Yes.
off the coast of
Or-
LA. It's great.
I love that. I can't help but imagine how your family, your Christmas and Thanksgiving must be it's like a sprawl. What do you guys have for Thanksgiving typically? You have the all-American Thanksgiving dinner where your whole family gets together and you guys tell stories and or why you're grateful and all that prior to having a meal. Somebody gives, says grace, and that kind of how it goes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it for me, I've grown up where, everybody gets together and we're all very
Mhm.
thankful for, everything that we were provided with that year. And I grew up, not taking things for granted. Um,
Right.
you know, then my parents are now split up, so my sister and I, we always talk about how we get to have multiple Thanksgivings, which is great, But it's great to have, family and surrounded
Yeah.
with loved ones, and just, yeah, it's great to have, the fun food, and I'm a big foodie, so I love it.
Yeah. Me too.
But
You can
it's
tell
not
I
a
keep the chin.
but it's also, it's not
Right.
about the food, and that's what sometimes we forget about, it's about being thankful. It's about everything that, we're blessed with, and sometimes we're not we're blindsided by it because we're just so busy and our lives are so crazy and fast, and especially if you
Yeah.
live in places like LA, it's nonstop, and
Hustle and bustle is real, bro.
yeah, it's just we gotta take a moment, sit back, and really just process and think about how blessed and fortunate we are, and to be able to just give back. And but it's great. I mean, I love all the food and all the different things, and grandma's recipes, and
Yeah.
it's great. So,
Cranberry
definitely,
sauce,
yeah, definitely gotta,
stuffing.
go get, some sweatpants for,
Yeah.
make sure that we can fit after our 4th serving,
Watch a football, all American football after. Let me ask you something. Why country? Were you a huge country because you're so young? I'm thinking, why not pop or rock or any other genre? Is that like something that you've always admired from the time you were young, like just good all American country music or
Well, so I definitely love music in general. I love all music. I mean, when I was in, like, the rock band and stuff, we did a lot more rock songs.
yeah,
Kinda started veering into pop and did that for a moment. This is all prior to my professional career, but growing up, into the pop kind of scene a little bit. And then, my mom started listening to modern country and classic country and different things. My grandma is huge into country. And so kind of just fell in love with those moments. And I really, it all goes back to like the storytelling aspect. I
right,
just fell in love with the stories, the
yeah,
songwriting, and it changed everything for me. And I was just like, this is what I love, this is what I want to do. It's an incredible community, and I really, really just am so grateful and blessed that this is the genre that I chose, that country is, welcoming me with open arms. And it's just something that's really special. Obviously, I call it Cali Country. I still have an aspect of California pop, beachy
yeah,
music, but
yeah,
it's songwriting aspect, it's a storytelling aspect of country
yeah,
music
yeah.
that
Country
just
music, it's
has
yeah,
those
you're right.
roots, you know?
It's almost like not to cut you off, but it's almost like the essence of California, the United States, that sort of background, like country cookout, you're hanging out with your group of friends, jumping in the car and going out there and freeway and then it tells kind of like a step by step sort of like turn by turn sort of thing. It seems it does paint a good picture, when I think about country music versus all the other genres that I listen to. Because I listen to many, a lot of metal music and punk. But yeah, I love that. I love that. It goes everything seems all roads seems to go back to storytelling for you. So it's fantastic, Presley. I'm hearing you out. I am beyond like blessed to have you on the show and stuff. And we are winding down to the last few minutes. I'd like to ask you if you weren't doing everything you're doing, right, as it were, you could talk to your younger self. Would there be like a course of, maybe a detour in your career per se, your route, career path, or would you have done exactly the same thing you did? And what are some of the things you would have done different?
That's definitely, one to think about. I mean, I think no matter what, I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on, and I love what I do creatively. I mean, there's obviously moments that, I'd go back in the bullying days and tell myself to stand up for myself more.
Right.
There's certain things that I would definitely go back and try to give some advice to myself, but there's
Yes.
nothing. Every failure, every mistake was supposed to happen. If I went back and fixed those things, I wouldn't be where I am today because I
Wow.
wouldn't have learned from it. So then at the end of the day,
Or
yeah,
lesson.
can I give myself advice? Yes, but I'd never want to change what happened because I could be somebody else. I could be doing something different if I did.
But you wouldn't be Presley Aronson, in other words. It'd be somebody else completely different. I love
Exactly.
it. Man, speechless, dude. It's been one of the most profound by leaps and bounds show I've had in a while. Um,
Well, thank you.
yeah,
It means a lot.
it's insane. Yeah, I really mean that. You were taught very well, and you have such a humble spirit to you, and you love to give, you love to give back. And let's talk about real quick once again. Remind the folks about the 23rd, Sunday the 23rd, Venice West, right?
Yes, doors are at 6, shows at 8. We have my entire band, they're so awesome, coming out. We're gonna put on an awesome show, bunch of new music. So if you wanna
Yeah,
hear some new stuff, we're teasing a lot of things, come out. Of course, we're playing all the hits and all the stuff that, some fun covers, all of my previous music. So definitely come on out. Bring some non-perishable food items. There's also, if you happen to not be available, which you should be available, and come to the show
yes.
and support and donate. But there's also a donation link if you want to support the food drive. It's on my Instagram, on my website, and I'm sure Jim can post it as well here. So definitely please consider donating if you can't make it to the show. We're so excited to have you guys out.
That's phenomenal, guys. I mean, it's insane. I will post everything up as soon as I have this up. I will post the information. Um, but I mean, there is obviously nothing you haven't done already. You have been successful at a lot of things, young man, and I I love it. The fact that you said mentorship, the fact that you said you have a nonprofit that helps almost build the next gen because we didn't have a chance because no one took you under their arm and said, "Here, let me lead you to the promised land, so to speak, and show you the way." But you had to do it, which you could do it all over, of course, like you said. I do it exactly in the same like manner. But the fact that you have that and you're able to provide a mentorship program for people is phenomenal. It's next level. It's priceless because of the fact that people have so many people have dreams they don't know what to do, how to go about, where to take the first step, where to lay out the first brick. And you, my friend, are leading the way in that aspect, and for that I salute you. I really do. It's
Thank,
unbelievable what you do.
thank you. This
Presley
is
Aronson, ladies and gentlemen, tell me once again, last we have a last thought from Mr. Presley Aronson. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, just thank you so much for having me. It's been an incredible time. I really appreciate it. And this is something that I hope that you guys learn from. And
Yeah,
you can always reach out, come to a show, and really just support and the message and the journey. And at the end of the day, stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Never listen to anybody else that's giving any negativity. This is not the end. This is not the end. This is only just the beginning.
beautifully said. What are your social media handles, real quick?
Everything is Presley Aronson official, and it's presleyaaronson.com.
Fantastic. And with that, my friends, hello and goodbye until we meet again. It's another almost famous radio podcast. Yours truly, Jim Francis Mesa. Presley Aronson, once again, you're a blessing to our heart. Thank you. You're a gift to the world, and we are so happy to have you, man, on the show. I hope we have you back on later with some more music because I know that this is just the beginning. Has some pretty good songs out there, and yeah, I look forward to going. By the way, because I am gonna definitely want to hear my song, and live like a paradise, right? Like it's paradise. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're really
That's
excited.
great.
I'm glad to be able to have you come to the show and meet you,
Yeah.
and can't wait to be back on your show.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it again. Now, Jimmy, real quick, you have Grammy Award. You did one last thing I wanted to ask you. Jimmy Allen, right? Is he a Grammy Award winner, or he's a nominee or something in the past? I mean, his band, he's been part of this huge band, right?
Yeah,
Let's give him
Jimmy Allen,
credit.
he's a great country artist.
Yeah.
He's done collaborations with every major artist they can think of, from Elton John to Tim McGraw to Brad Paisley.
Huge. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing stuff. And CMA awards, ACMAs, Grammy stuff. He's a great artist, and we had the opportunity of doing a song together. It's called Love for the
Exactly.
Win. It's all about
Yeah.
anti-suicide. So it's really something that, he's had personal
Something
struggles,
special.
I've
Yeah.
had personal struggles, and bringing us together to write it and sing it together. It's out now, so definitely go listen to it. And it's something that I'm very proud of, and honored that he was willing to be a part of it.
All right. That's I'm happy to, and I'll see you on the 23rd, my friend. That's my show. Take care. God
See you
bless
there.
you.